What's up guys, it's Brahamid here with another war recap and a really good victory for RazeInfinity. We got off to a flying start in this war and never really looked back. It was interesting that the opposition didn't feel that they were in a fair fight, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just take a look at the bases. You can see here our Knights, the Romanian clan, a couple of 3 stars, but they were only on our Town Hall 8s and mostly 2 and 1 stars, whereas, okay, we didn't do so well against their Town Hall 10s, but lots of 3 stars all the way through. And all of their Town Hall 8s 3-starred. I was really surprised that they didn't even 3-star all of our Town Hall 8s. And then again, they can see the total 3 stars, 19. A couple of 1 stars, but I wanted to show you the average destruction because that was really high, and it sort of shows that, okay, we didn't always get the victory and the 3 stars, but people were, very close. They perhaps just missed the Town Hall, or, 99%, 1 or 2 buildings left to destroy. And then I just want to show this attack, not for any reason other than I want a little bit of time to talk, and I thought it would make good background. Wasn't too pleased with this attack because I felt like I could get the Town Hall and it didn't quite go right. But what I wanted to talk about was the reason that our Knights felt that they had an unfair matchup, because if you looked at the lineups, they had an extra Town Hall 10 and 1 less Town Hall 9. So on paper straight away it was, perhaps in their favour, although if you went to look at the actual defence levels, it was maybe in our favour a bit, but overall, what I'm trying to say is it was quite an even matchup in my opinion. And the difference really, and probably what they saw when they were looking at our bases, was high level walls and high level heroes. And it's been noted on the forums by quite a few people, and it's been mentioned in clan chat as well. And I think JD actually has just made a post about it, which I've very briefly read. But walls and heroes, and also your attacking upgrades, don't have a huge bearing on the matchmaking. So if you increase the level of your golem, for example, or you add 10 walls, or you upgrade your hero, you're not going to be matched up against a harder base 9 times out of 10. But if you add a level to all your Teslas, for example, you will be matched up against harder bases. And if you go on the forums, you'll notice people talking about a Town Hall 9.5, which is where you don't upgrade your defences at Town Hall 10, you only upgrade your attacking power. And that's just a symptom of the fact that those things aren't counted for much in the algorithm, so you'll get much better matchups. And I think that's why we should be focusing on our walls and heroes when we're doing upgrades. And I know we do that, but I just think it adds extra impetus to doing that particular thing. So let's jump right into it with our first attack, and we've kind of got a star of the show this week because I think I've got both of his attacks, and it's Rebel. I want to show more Town Hall 8 attacks because I think they're useful. We don't have that many Town Hall 8 players, but I can imagine the way the clan is, we'll always have a few, and these are the players who are sort of learning and improving all the time, and it's difficult for them because they've only got a few enemies to choose from as well. And I think Rebel puts in some really good attacks, and I like this attack particularly because it's a strange base and it maybe isn't that difficult, but then again, the way these walls are spread out, it's very difficult to create the funnel. And I loved how Rebel sort of looked into this base and thought, what are the weaknesses? And one of the weaknesses was the air defense on the top point there, which he took out with the hogs, which I just thought was fantastic. And then he's dropping in the balloons from the side there. They weren't actually needed because he deployed his dragons so well, and then balloons from the other side as well to go in for those air defences. So kind of overkill. The balloons didn't actually go for the air defence, but they would have done if they needed to. And there you can see the level 6 balloons taking out the other air defence. And at this point, against the Town Hall 8, the raid's pretty much over because there's nothing that's going to stop those dragons. So a really smart attack, clever, and just sort of shows the advantage of scouting out a base. I won't keep talking over this one about how he's done the attack because it's already, pretty much completed. But what I want to talk about is the next video, which I'm going to do hopefully when I've got some good replays to show, because I did some pretty terrible attacks in this war, and I want to do a video about scouting out bases and how you plan where you're going to come in from, how to build up an attack and design an attack, getting out of that rut of, okay, I'm going to cook an army because I know which army I like, and then I'm going to deploy it and hope that it gets stars. And a lot of us are not doing that, but there's a few people still kind of in that place where they're not confident to look at base and think, how can I beat this? What different troops can I use? And this is a perfect example of a Town Hall 8 doing that, exploiting the weaknesses of the base as it is, rather than just cooking the troops and hoping that they can get you a win. So great attack there, Rebel, and you're going to be shown again now, so well done. So part 2 of the Rebel show, and this time it's a Hog Rider attack with a Go Wipe, and I really like this one for a Town Hall 8 attack. I think it's pretty interesting. I didn't actually want to show a Dragon attack this week. I thought we'd seen enough, and it wasn't getting us that many 3 stars, but the previous one I enjoyed so much live I had to show it. But now a Hog Rider attack, which I think is probably more likely to get you the 3 star. Starting off with getting the lure, and then there's going to be a go wipe in from the bottom here, but first off he's going to use this little builder's hut as an anchor. You find a lot of Town Hall 8s do that. I'm not really sure why. It's perhaps because they've come up against Town Hall 7s and weak Town Hall 8s who struggle to finish them off in the time. But it just makes an easy spot to get the lure kill, because you can use it as an anchor. And grouping up those defensive troops so you can kill them with the wizards. Loses a couple of wizards, which was a bit of a shame, but it didn't really matter. They just didn't quite lock onto his golem as a distraction. And then the aim of this bit, I think, is to detonate a couple of potential double giant bomb spots. And you can see he's already uncovered the Teslas, so they're not double giant bomb spots. He probably thought they were. The other spots are maybe after the cannon here, where his king is now, and then the identical position on the other side. And you'll notice in a minute something I really like. On the other side, where the king hasn't gone and hasn't exposed the fact that there isn't a double giant bomb there, he just drops a couple of hogs. I think that's good. He's not panicking. You know, he's scouted this base out really well, and he knows that if he drops all his hogs in there, there's a chance he could lose them. And then once the centre's distracted, he knows the defences are quite spread out. He's just dropping a few hogs per defence, taking them out without really needing a heal. And it's kind of like when you're getting a lure. You know, you need probably 2 hogs, 3 hogs per defence to get a lure as a Town Hall 8. So just dropping a few hogs per defence around the outside and wipe them all out. Very similar to Melee Pudding's Valkyrie video that I just did earlier, where once the Valks were in the middle, spreading out those hogs around the outside and just quickly take out all of the point defence. And now we're just into the cleanup phase. So some really good Town Hall 8 attacks there. You know, I think it'll give people some good ideas for how they can get 3 stars in the next war. And as JD said, and I just want to emphasise it, really if you're Town Hall 8, try and get your attacks in early, because otherwise you're going to run out of people to hit. There's only ever probably 5 or 6 Town Hall 8s that we come up against, and that pretty much means you've all got 1 chance each, and as a Town Hall 8 you're not really going to 3-star a Town Hall 9, so just try and get those attacks in nice and early. I don't know why it says 98%, it was a 3-star, I think the game just froze there, so well done Rebel, good attack. Okay, so next up I've got 2 Hog Rider attacks. I think probably our best 2 attacks in this one, in terms of taking out the hardest bases and getting 3 stars, were both Hog Rider attacks. If I do another video, I'll probably pick up some Lava Loon attacks, because we actually had some of the best Lava Loon attacks I've seen for a while. In the previous wars there's been a few mistakes made with Lava Loons, but people are clearly picking it up now, so well done guys. So King here, he's going to go in, and it's the general base, showed it last week as well. Lil dismantled it with a totally different attack to this, but now King's going to dismantle it again, so definitely don't use this base. It seems like every week we get a 3-star against it, and we see it all the time. King was on a really good streak of 3 stars. I think he had a little bit of a blip last week, but now again back in the 3-star groove, so I expect to see a lot more of him on these videos. So as it's a hog attack, he wants to take out the enemy queen, which he's done there with the jump spell, dropping in a rage as well by the looks of it. And then once that's done, he's just going to put in his hogs, and you can see his lure and queen kill have taken out 2 of the giant bombs, and the other 2 are on the other side. And I think this is probably the most interesting bit of the raid. Great spell placement there, by the way. And then the other spell placement is going to be over the double giant bomb, but the angle his hogs are coming at it from, there you can see they're going to detonate 1, take out the defences around it, then detonate the other. So essentially made that into a 2 single giant bombs, which I don't think is easy to do. But on the other hand, if you study the base well and think about the pathing that your hog's going to take, which King clearly did, it is possible to do. So definitely something for people to bear in mind, and something I'll be thinking about as well when I'm doing attacks, because it's not always possible to pre-trigger giant bombs. I mean, that is quite a good giant bomb position, it's well protected, but if the hogs path like they did, and with the benefit of hindsight, there was not really another way they were going to path, and King clearly identified that, then they're going to set off the bombs one at a time, and there'll be no threat to the Hog Rider attack. Okay, so last up for this week, we've got Mountain Biker with a Hog Rider attack against probably one of the toughest Town Hall 9 bases. And you can see here it ties in quite nicely with King Witox's attack, because again we kind of know where the double giant bombs are. I think we identified them even before this was a cleanup raid, but we identified them beforehand, and I think it was GCH that I was talking to about how we could maybe take this base out, and I hold my hands up, obviously didn't come up with the best plan, because what we discussed and what I suggested was try and pre-trigger those giant bomb spots. But actually if you think about it, the defences have got them quite well covered. You need to take out the cannon, the archer tower, the mortar, maybe the wizard tower as well, before you can take out the double giant bombs. If anything, it would have helped if there was a Tesla in that spot as well to sort of draw the hogs in. So maybe not the best base to pre-trigger. Probably better to kind of consider something like what King did getting the hogs to path, maybe via that northern air defence there, the sort of northwest air defence, and trigger one giant bomb at a time. But Mountain here on the cleanup is going to sort of make short work of this base, really, taking advantage of the things he knew already. So not doing down the people who failed to beat it, because it was a difficult base, but kind of showing that once you know what to do, you can take it out with plenty of hogs left at the end. So first things first, getting the lure, and then I like the minion because nothing could shoot the minion there, so it was easy to draw the troops out, didn't cost him much, and also separates the witch from the skeletons as well, which is always nice. And then dropping in his own witches, using the skeletons as distraction. And I like the giant, I've been doing this a lot as well, using the giant so that you can just drop one wizard to start to create the funnel, and then the other side of the funnel is going to be on the camp, which again is always a good option. And then now at this stage you can think, right, I'm going to drop in my king, he's not going to go walkabout. And the aim of this bit of the raid is to get in and kill the queen so that she doesn't destroy the hogs, and pre-trigger one of the double giant bombs, which works perfectly, as you can see now. There goes one, and then the other, and then once that's done, the hogs can go in. And he's got 3 heals. Oh no, sorry, he's got 4 heals rather, and you can see he's going to pre-heal over the areas where there's lots of defences, and of course he's going to pre-heal where that double giant bomb is, and hope that he doesn't trigger them both at once. But on a compact base like this, your first thought's got to be, I'm going to hog it. One, because there's not loads of places where there could be double giant bombs, they're kind of obvious where they are, and the other one is that it's easy to cover the base with heals, which you can see here, covered the 3/4 that weren't taken out by the queen kill with heals, and he's actually kind of got 1 heal left that he pretty much doesn't need at this stage. So a tough base, but once it had been attacked a few times and we'd kind of seen where the bombs were, it was actually quite easy to take out with hogs. Really good attack from Mountain. Don't expect anything less, of course, from Mountain, so no pressure, buddy. So that's going to do it for this recap. Like I said, I might do another one with some more Lava Loon attacks or something like that, but if people have got suggestions, because I didn't watch that many attacks in this war because it wasn't that close, I kind of felt like it was pretty much over from hour 2, so I didn't watch loads of our attacks. If people want to suggest it either in the comments here or on the website, I'll definitely be open to suggestions, and I'll try and do another video this week. Again, I didn't go into a lot of detail on this video. I would like to do a more detailed video, but I felt like it'd be good to just do a recap for now, and I'll maybe come with a more detailed video on how to build up an attack later in the week. But for now, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back with you soon.